This is C.T. Johnson, and today is day 135 of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is the Funding Doctors COVID-19 Financial Survival Guide. As you can see, I'm coming at you from outside. I'm actually out of my balcony today, and the reason is because I live on the top floor of my building. There is a guy who they're installing a safety rail on the garden up above me, and it is loud as hell when the guy is drilling. So I could not get a quiet spot, so I thought I'd come out and try it outside. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 reasons why construction deals fall over. There's a number of things that I have seen that are recurring themes, and so I thought I would bring everybody into that. First thing is, and if you've watched me, you'll know this is no big surprise, the docs are not ready. One of the things you'll hear me preach about all the time is making sure that the documents are ready to go. I actually have a deal, and it's very sad because it's a great deal. It would be a great deal for the developer. I mean, the interest rate is really low. The terms are super favorable. But because he didn't have one of his key contracts ready to go, the funder did not want to proceed until that was in place. Now he's left scrambling, and it's an open question whether the money will be there when he has his documents in order. So that's really unfortunate, and something that can be avoided by having the documents in order to start with. Number 9, low profit. This is a pretty common one that I see in deals that come through, is the profit is just not high enough. If you're operating below 20% margin, nobody's going to touch the deal. If your construction is not producing at least a 20% margin for you after all expenses, including interest, have been deducted, nobody's going to take a look at it. If you have something that's 25 or 30, you're much safer. If you're above 30%, then people will be really quite interested in funding that deal. Number 8, a lack of experience. This is one that it frequently surprises new developers that people care about the fact that they haven't done it before, but of course they do. The lender doesn't want to be left holding the bag because the developer didn't have the experience to deal with problems that have come along. So lack of experience is a real issue. The best way to handle that is to have a partner in the deal who knows how, who has done it before, or at the worst to have a project manager, a professional project manager. Number 7, bad chemistry. I actually had a deal fall over the other day because of this, is that the borrower just didn't like the lender. He just thought that they were sharks, and he thought they were out to get his deal. And even though that really wasn't how I viewed it, he thought that. And so he just got mad and said, no, I don't want to deal with these guys. And I thought, wow, okay. So sometimes bad chemistry happens. It's more common that it happens on the other side, is that for whatever reason, a lender decides that they just don't like a sponsor for a project, and they just don't want to do the deal. Number 6, not understanding the market. This frequently comes up in deals that are sort of in smaller markets or smaller regions. Is that, for instance, I had one in last year in Mackay, where the developer wanted to create what was essentially going to be 10%. He was going to add 10% to the entire housing market of Mackay. That is really going to be, you're going to have some strong proof that you can shift all of those units and that they can all be sold in the time frame anticipated within the feasibility. So that was one that was, in fact, we never got that one funded. It was just too hard. And so we ended up, he ended up not being able to get that funded at all. But it was just because of a lack of understanding of the market. Biting off more than you can chew. This is another one that I see with sometimes inexperienced developers, is they'll do one or two, they'll do a townhouse development, and they'll do 3 townhouse developments, and then they want to do, a 100-unit block of apartments. And they wonder why the lenders are not so excited about that. And the reason they're not excited is because that looks like a lot more than what you've done before, and therefore, they wonder whether you're going to be able to follow through with it, whether you're going to be able to finish the project. So don't bite off more than you can chew. Another big part of that is they want to feel good that the project that you're getting into if you get into trouble, that you have enough experience, enough money, enough resources, enough knowledge to get out of it. The last thing they want to do is be left holding the project. So lack of experiences, biting off more than you can chew tends to tank a lot of deals. Number 4, bad valuations. This is a terrible one in COVID-19, is that values have been just pummeled. I mean, a 30 to 50% decline in the value. And that is just a punch in the guts if you are a sponsor for a deal and you think that your property is going to value out at $10 million and it comes out at $6 million. That leaves a $4 million hole that you have to fill immediately. And that's tough. So be sure of your valuations, particularly in light of market conditions. If it's a large project, I think that it is worth getting getting a valuation ahead of time, just so that you know. Make sure that it's on the right basis, that it is for a first mortgage type lend, so that it will be on a like-for-like comparison. Number 3, pricing and terms. This is the one you would anticipate where most things would fall down, is that people just don't like the pricing, or there's something in the terms that they don't like. So there's kind of no surprise about that. I will say this is an area where it pays to understand what's going on in the market before you get into it. If you are thinking that a private lender is going to give you no pre-sales deal, the same kind of terms that NAB would give something with 120% debt coverage, you're going to be surprised by the pricing in a very unfavorable way. So, NAB and those kind of deals, they're offering 5 or 6%. And lots of the privates, if you're a small guy, if you don't have experience, you don't have pre-sales, they're talking more like 15%. So it pays to understand what the prices and terms are going to be so that you can react to that appropriately. Number 2, people getting cold feet. Of course, as a guy who refers a lot of deals, this is the one that drives me crazy, is that somebody tells you what kind of deal they want, you bring them that kind of deal, and then the whole thing falls over at the end because they just get scared about jumping into it. Decide if you want to do the deal or not. If you're a broker, make sure that you've got the relationship, enough of a relationship that you can press home and get them to sign on the dotted line when the time comes. And the number one reason why construction finance deals fall over: not enough equity. I see this at all stages, at all sizes of deals. I see this in small deals. I see this in large ones. I see this when people who come to me with the idea that they want to get something highly leveraged, and people who come to me with more realistic expectations, but maybe don't understand or have not identified where they're going to get the equity. So that is CT's top 10 reasons why construction finance deals fail. If you have a construction finance deal you'd like to talk to me about any of these points that I've raised, how you can make sure that your deal doesn't fall over, then please give me a call. My name is CT Johnson, and I'm the Funding Doctor.